because in this video I'm going to be going over the PDR wizard build that I've been showing off in my previous video. I've got a lot of questions how you build this, and to put it simply, get the arm rating rolls. That's as simple as it gets. Then we'll go into the intricacies of choosing what items to build here. So first of all, the choice of pants and clothes. All of your clothes have base PDR. All of the items in my inventory currently have base PDR. And I've chosen these items for a specific reason. So the leather choices are, you can see the armor type at the very bottom above the loot rarity is leather. Now leather got buffed in a previous update to where it was significantly stronger than something made of cloth. So if I compare these two pants here, this padded leggings has 11 arm rating on it as a roll. These pants don't have any arm rating on them, but yet the difference is still only 2 arm rating. So having 11 arm rating on a cloth item, and this goes for all of them. Loose trousers have even less arm rating, and all of the cloth items basically have less arm rating than leather items. So the leather trousers are the best for this build because you get the most arm rating base from it, meaning you can stack it a lot higher with rolls. So I always go for leather trousers on my PDR wizard. The robes also got a buff where they have magic resistance base. So I can have 25 magic resistance. They have really low movement speed penalty for the amount of arm rating they give. Of course, having something else like this, it's gonna have more PDR. It's gonna have less MR. It has max health base. Now, if you need max health, it's really good. Or if you have a good Akaton. But I chose Mystic Vestments specifically because it's much cheaper. Mystic Vestments can have really good rolls like these and not be that expensive. I think about both of these for like 800 each. So the Mystic Vestments, I just use them because they're cheaper. Of course, an Akaton or the Oracle Robe, they're gonna be way better if you have the rolls for it. Now, my helmet for Wizard, you always want Vigor. It is the best stat for Wizard. Your HP is gonna be the only issue when you're playing Wizard. You're not gonna have a damage issue. As soon as you have 40 knowledge, you are fine on that. Having a leather cap is gonna make so you're a bit tankier. So you have the increased hedge reduction versus a wizard hat. I don't think I have any wizard hats to compare to now. But wizard hats basically have significantly less hedge reduction. You see how this is 2.5%. A leather cap has 8%. Which this hedge reduction really helps a lot when you're building this, because that's a separate stat that increases your reduction to physical and range damage. So I really like to have leather cap. It also has the vigor base, of course, which is going to increase your HP. So this thing makes me a lot tankier. My gloves, same thing as my helmet. Vigor base, really good for wizard. It's also leather, so it has good arm rating. I'm pretty sure there are no cloth gloves. But it has the most armor rating out of the gloves you can get. So I usually use these. If you have a really good pair of rawhide gloves such as these, you can swap them out. But you see how this is knowledge based? My knowledge is way too high when I'm wearing all of this. I have 47 knowledge, I don't want more than 45. When you get 45 knowledge, because of Sage, you're gonna reach 46. So having this high knowledge is completely relevant. So the gloves I usually go for vigor and max health on them. My boots, these are very flexible. You can run occultist boots, you can run low boots, you can run ruggeds. Anything really works except lightfoots, I'd say, because the lightfoots don't have that high arm rating. They only have 5 arm rating as their base. So I generally try to avoid lightfoot boots. But I'm using rugged boots in this build because I don't have that high HP. So I really need that 5 vigor to increase my health, but it really doesn't matter which gloves, which boots you go for. My cloak, this one I just go based on what stat I need or what's the cheapest. So this cloak, I can't remember how much it was exactly. I think it was 600 gold for 18 arm rating. Now there are most cloaks have stats that aren't the best for you. So this cloak, for example, is really good, but I want arm rating. And I don't need knowledge. I have enough knowledge, so I want the arm rating on this. So I just got one on the market for 800 with additional damage or true damage and arm rating. It's really cheap. So this the cloak, doesn't matter which one. It could be a resourcefulness cloak. If it has the right rolls, it's good. As for my jewelry, it's just what's cheapest. If it has true or additional and arm rating, it works. But the rings, generally, I like to have whatever stat I need. So for this build, I have 38 knowledge. So I need a bit of knowledge. Now, for this build, I'm running with a bard and a barbarian. So I'm gonna get 2 knowledge from the bard, which is gonna give me 45. Sage increases that, because it's 50% to the 10%. It's gonna round up, and it's gonna give me 46 instead. So I get 1 more knowledge for having this ring. This ring is actually 3 knowledge. The pendant, whatever is cheapest. It's plain as that. Whatever is cheapest and whatever you need. The cloak and pendant, they don't matter at all. As long as they have good rolls, they're good. Now, for the rolls I build, on all items they can have all attributes that aren't jewelry. So the chestplate and the legs, you want all attributes. That's just how it is. In the current meta, armor all attributes is the strongest stat in the game. So if you look at my stats, if I take these off, I lose a lot of stats taking these off. At the top here, I lose half of my strength. I lose 4 Vig, 4 Agi, 4 Dex, and so on. So you really need to have 4 all attributes, because you're gonna lose a lot of stats if you don't. 4 all attributes, for context, it's, what, 42 stat points up here. The highest you can roll on a different blue stat is 3 of a stat point. So having these 42 stat points from this... Oh no, it's not 42. It's 28 stat points. You have 28 stat points from this. You really need this. It's really good. On my leather cap, true damage or additional damage. Because that's one of the pieces that can roll true damage additional. You need to have it. Same goes for the jewelry. They need to have true or additional. Cloak as well. These items need to have true damage or additional. Because they're the only items that can roll it. And that's going to be your main source of damage. This build has 37% magic power bonds, and that's all from the chestplate. So you really need to have like the true and additional damage, because it's going to be carrying your build. My gloves, I'll go for max health and PDR. Preferably PDR. Max health I get as an additional roll. You don't need to have max health on them, but it's really helpful because you want HP on wizard. So I always get health on my items. And that's just about everything about the items I build and the itemization. Onto the perks. Now, as for the perks on wizard, I like to have Sage and Arcane Mastery. These two are the most important perks on wizard you can have. Sage increases your knowledge by a large amount, so I get 4 knowledge from this. And with my bard, as I said, I'm gonna get 1 more from this. So I'm gonna be getting 5 knowledge just for having this perk. And that's really good because I can increase your spellcasting speed. Now, Arcane Mastery. This perk is a must-have on wizard. 2 really important spells on wizard. It's gonna be invisibility and your magic missiles. These are your 2 panic buttons on wizard, and you need to be able to cast them fast. And the Arcane Mastery, it makes the cast time shorter. So you can be able to instantly cast invisibility and really quickly cast magic missiles, and that's really powerful. Being able to cast missiles fast is gonna let you push away people who are diving you, because they have to disengage or block your missiles or immediately die to it. Those are the 2 most important perks. These 2 you must have. The rest of them, they're pretty optional, but I like to have Reactive Shield and Ice Shield. Both these perks are very defensive. The Reactive Shield, of course, just gives you a protection potion every time you get hit. So I basically essentially have 15 more health on this, so I have 130 HP. And another detail about the shield is that it blocks headshot hits. So the first hit, if there, let's say there's a fighter on you, hits you in the head with a falchion, it's gonna do a lot of damage. The second hit, the protection bubble is gonna take away that headshot multiplier. So it's gonna do substantially less damage because of the headshot reduction being removed. I also run Ice Shield because of the 20 arm rating and the effect, the frostbite on hit. It basically makes divers, such as, let's say the fighter with falchion, that second hit is gonna come out much slower because of this. And their movement speed is gonna be lower. So your magic missiles, for example, if you're countering with magic missiles, they're gonna be having a harder time avoiding them. Because they're minus 60 move speed, it's gonna be substantially harder to dodge it. Now, just to show a proof of concept, I'm gonna be showing you what items I would choose if I had to build a completely new kit from here. Alright, and just like that, I put together the entire kit for, well, less than 3,000 gold. I'm not sure how much I started with, but for very cheap, I managed to put together an entire build. Now, of course, this one is a bit worse, but this one is 48% PDR. With good HP, good knowledge, and good move speed. So, a build like this, it's pretty cheap to build. While still being incredibly powerful, as we saw in my previous video. The only real issue with this build here, that I have now, that I just made, is that my knowledge is a bit low. But if I were to look for longer, I could easily find a better ring for this one, or I could find a knowledge cloak. But all of this to say, this build is really easy to build.